Sweet the whispers in your ear whenever ember wanders near.
No, what I want to see is, this may have something to do with side scrollers, but Rev put out a video about Leaf. This is, oh God, I'm right in the center still. I must move. This is, I think this is about Leaf and Makeship. I scrubbed it really quick. I'm pretty sure this is about Makeship contacting Leaf and Leaflet's response, which is beautiful. And I know what her response was because I've seen the Twitter post and I saw her talking about on side scrollers. But I'm kind of curious, like the Rev's video is 10 minutes long, so I'm kind of curious what more there is to say about it. So let's take a look.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here. So I know there's a certain bald man out there who asked the question, who is Leaflit? Well, I will say Leaflit is a pretty based individual. I'm sure a lot of you guys have come across her content at one point or another, but the other day she took a stand against a company, and I have to say, it's a pretty hilarious interaction, and one that is,
Yes, it is
personally satisfying for reasons that I think will be very obvious in just a second.
Am I crazy for not knowing what this is about? No, you're not. The only reason why I know about this is because I'm friends with Leaflit. So I knew about this some time ago. Leaf let me know about it. She posted on Twitter, and I follow her on Twitter, so of course that popped into my feed, and she spoke about it on Side Score. So you're not crazy for not knowing about it because you're not friends with Leaflet, so you're not paying attention to everything that she does. So perfectly understandable why you would know. And the fact that you don't know is going to make this even better because what Leaf did here is absolutely savage. It's beautiful.
Her response was to a possible sponsorship opportunity with the company Makeship, who makes plushies. Now, Makeship is a pretty controversial one because they have let go of a few content creators over the years, and well, when they reached out to Leaflit, she gave them a piece of their mind. Now, my history with Makeship goes back. You might know the ancient lore, but me and my wife, Darling Straub, did a combined 7 campaigns with them. We sold thousands of plushies with this company.
Like, going beyond this. Like, side tangent, I know you're shocked. Rev and Straub have gotten such raw fucking deals over the past couple years. I feel so fucking bad for them because they have basically been shit on so badly in terms of sponsorships for the last couple of years. It started with Makeship. It started with them, which he's about to talk about, and then it continued on with Advanced GG. And it's just like they weren't like getting hit after hit on this shit. But thankfully, obviously, they have bounced back. They didn't let it slow them down at all. And they have basically come back to basically rub it into these two companies' faces. Like, look what you just fucked up, you dumbasses. And it's beautiful. Now, for he's hooked up with Google Market and more, which Reb is going to get into, so I'm not going to spoil that. I just wish that, like, Gamer Subs, after Advanced GG dropped Rev and Straub, I do kind of wish Gamer Subs had reached out to Rev and Straub and said, you want a sponsorship? And brought them on board for sponsorships. That would have just been, blah, chef's kiss if Gamer Subs had basically scooped them up after Advanced GG, like, ticked them to the curb and shat all over them. That would have just been absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'm a little disappointed that they didn't, but oh well, fantasies.
It was an all-around great relationship until it wasn't. When eventually we were both kicked from the company and we were given this delightful message, basically saying that my content is on the edgier side, therefore they can't work with me anymore, and because of my wife's association with me, she was also let go. that was obviously a disaster for everyone in.
Like, this is the sign of a shit company. Because bearing in mind, Rev, when Makeship picked him and Straub up to do plushies for them, he hasn't changed his content. Okay, Rev's content has always been what it's been. He hasn't changed. He's not gotten like edgier or anything since since Makeship first picked him up with a sponsorship. He's basically remained the same. But what happened is the company changed, and they basically said, "Oh, my guess is they probably did the whole thing of, oh, we want to be on the quote unquote right side of history," and they basically bent to the Twitter moms that were just like, "Oh, Rev says things we don't like, and so clearly he is a Nazi or a fascist or an istophobe." And they had basically a bunch of, again, I will point this out, non-paying customers undoubtedly bitched at Makeship and said, how could your company possibly associate with someone like Rev and Straub, because since she's married to him, obviously she's the devil just like Rev. And how could you possibly associate to them? And as with every SJR company failing, they bowed to the Twitter SJR mob, who, again, I will repeat, and I repeat because this is a very salient point that I absolutely want to hammer the fuck home. The people bitching at Makeship, and by further extension, Advanced GG with the situation with Rev, were non-paying customers. These are companies that bent the knee, that bowed at the waist to non-paying customers. People that had no intention of giving this company money and were only interested in the company bowing to their sociological and ideological whims just to give them a dopamine hit. And for them to basically raise their fists in victory to go, ha, we stuck it to them. That's like, that needs to be like repeated over and over again because it's these companies that are going to fail. Look at Advanced GG. They bet the mob to people that were not going to spend money on them. And guess what? They're probably on the verge of going under. They have booted so many of their sponsorship, so many of the people that they sponsor, because they didn't align with them ideologically or politically. And so what's happening is Advanced GG is probably now on the way to bankruptcy. They probably do not have much longer to go. God only knows what kind of condition Makeship is in as well. I'm going to hazard a guess that they may not be doing too great either, now that they've basically been booting some of their biggest sponsors. Or some of their biggest content creators that they've sponsored and said, oh, we don't want to work with you, bowing to the people that weren't giving them money in the first place. And now the people that were going to give them money in the first place are going to go, why in the fuck should I give your company money when you're going to boot people that you're going to basically boot content creators that brought you in money for people that were never going to bring you in money? It's like, I love seeing companies like this fail because not only do they fail because they're not making money, they fail at the most basic business concept. Like day one shit when you go into college to learn about business. Day fucking one, you please your customer. When you are in business, the number one thing that you need to focus on is making your customer happy. Because if your customer is not happy, your customer is not going to give you money and they're going to fuck off somewhere else. And so when you do that, your business will fail. This is literally business 101 first day. Make the customer happy. And Makeship and Advanced GG and all companies like this are failing on that very basic day one lesson. And I love to see it. I absolutely love to see them fail in this respect. And Outlaw Store, thank you for the tier 1. Thank you.
Involved, but we moved on to greener pastures, as I'm sure you guys are aware. But earlier this year, there was another VTuber by the name of Celestium who was also let go by Makeship. She explained this in a video a few months ago, but basically, after fully funding her campaign, which is not an easy thing to do,
Yeah.
she was let go. And
Which, to another salient point here, Makeship got their money. They fully funded the campaign, which means people sent them money. Okay? This is a company that actually took in money. Over 200 supporters. I have no idea what each supporter, what the cost was for the plushie. But over 200 people. So Makeship got money. They absolutely got money from this. And then, because the Riang mob said, we hate Celestium because she's a Christian, she's an istophobe, whatever their fucking reason was, Makeship said, okay, we're not going to work with you. And they gave the money. They had to give the money back. They literally had taken in the money. And because they bowed to the mob, they actually had to give all the money back. Like, this is a level of stupidity that is honestly impressive. It is legitimately impressive how stupid this company could be. That they just probably took in God knows how much. Like, let's go on the assumption that it's like $60. Okay, we'll go on the assumption that it was like $60. So they took in like $1,600 for this campaign. Okay? They legit probably took in about $1,600 for this campaign. They had to, and they gave all that money back in service to, well, we want to be on the right side of history. And then all those people that demanded they be on the, quote, right side of history, you think they're going to buy any plussies from them? Nope. So they literally gave up, like, at minimum, $1,200, probably more. Just because the Twitter mob said, we don't like Celestian, she's a Christian and an istophobe. Good. Fucking fail. You get what you fucking deserve.
the reason was for violating community/creator guidelines based on unspecified tweets. And
Yes.
as an open Christian here, I can only imagine what those unspecified tweets might have.
My guess, and if I were to hazard a guess, it's very likely probably Celestium's viewpoint on transgender people. That one seems to get, they never did tell her. If I was to hazard a guess, that was probably it, because that is the hot button issue at the time, because, this was back in February. That was the hot button, that's been the hot button issue, in regards to Christians and non-Christians. That's been like the biggest uproar right now. So I'm going to hazard a guess. He probably said something, not complimentary regarding transgender people, and probably, the activist transgender community. Bear in mind, I'm being specific. The SJR activists pretending to be transgender. Okay, I'm going to make that very clear. The pretenders, not actual trans people, but the pretenders using the transgender movement as a means to basically excuse deviant and disgusting behavior, probably started reeing at Makeship, and Makeship said, oh no, they're claiming to be transgender. And they don't like this. We better just cut it off and tell her to go away, because surely these fake transgender people that are actually disgusting sexual deviants that are basically, not transgender in the first place and using it as a means of playing out their sick, disgusting fetishes, surely they're going to buy plushies. Surely. Guess what? Didn't happen.
Have been. But now we have Leaflit here in May of 2026.
Here we go.
She got an email from Makeship, and we're going to read the email from them, and we're going to look at her response back to them, and I have to say it is unfathomably based.
Yes.
So they say, hi Leaflit, I came across your content and love your content and character design. Not sure if you ever heard of us, oh boy, but I work at Makeship. You or your manager might have been in touch with one of our colleagues in the past year or so.
Makeship runs LGBT. I'm not going to do the Q plus bullshit. Plushies and other products nonstop. Yeah, and how much do they sell? That's my question. is they may run those plushies and products all the time. How much of them do they sell? I'm going to hazard a guess and say not many. That's my suspicions. They probably don't sell a whole hell of a lot.
Not sure if you're familiar with what we do, but as a refresher, we help creators like yourself bring your ideas to life as high-quality, limited edition plush and custom apparel for your community. There's zero upfront cost or risk on your end. We'll handle everything from product design to campaign to shipping as well. But most importantly, I think your community would absolutely love a plush from you. It would be an awesome way for you to deepen your connection with your fans. Feel free to check out some of our past collaborations with other VTubers below, including Niji Sanji, Hololive, Zentreya, Iron Mouse, Shy Lily, and Rin Penrose. Now those names, I have, things I could say, not about all of them, but some. But this whole thing is completely tone deaf. Not only is Leaflit very aware of me and Straub's situation, she was also very actively defending Celestium recently when she was going through her bouts with.
Yeah, Rin Penrose. I don't even know if I don't even know if Rin still does content anymore. I know there was a big thing, like Rin was part of an agency. I believe she left the agency. I think she was part of Mythic. And yeah, I think if memory serves, she left Mythic because of Kirsche. Back when the whole anal violence thing was happening, I'm pretty sure that's when Rin made her announcement that she, basically said, I'm leaving Mythic, basically because Mythic's still had Kirsche, and Gamer Subs too. Yeah, maybe it's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm thinking of Gamer Subs. That may be what I'm thinking of. Like, Rid left Gamer Subs because of the whole anal violence thing with Kirsche, and Gamer Subs refused to drop Kirsche, based Gamer Subs, by the way. And so Rid left, and like honestly, I haven't followed anything that she's done since. Well, Rin does do the they them. Okay, so Rin does the they them. Yeah, it's. I have not seen anything that Rin has done for years. She's making content, recently changed her model. Okay. I had no idea. I haven't followed Rin for probably at least 2 years now. So I followed Rin just before I started streaming, and after I started streaming, I have absolutely no idea what Rin has done since then, because I stopped following. I hadn't seen anything. So her old agency let her keep the model and ID. Okay. Yeah.
Makeship as well. So it shows that they have absolutely no idea who they're emailing. And this seems to be a very common theme these days with these companies who are reaching out to get sponsorships with people who have criticized that exact company for mistreating content creators for unfair reasons, obviously. But here is the response from Leaflit. It is a screenshot of me and Straub's plushie campaign, and also a plushie from Celestium, which of course was fully funded, but the campaign is...
But by the way, to add insult to injury, look at the plushie that Makeship was doing. Okay? Look at the plushie that Makeship was actually doing. It included Celestium holding a Bible. They knew going in that Celestium was a devout Christian. They even included it in her plushie. And then they still dropped her because she, was being Christian. It's the level of stupidity on display by Makeship is honestly staggering. It really is.
Itself was fully refunded to all the people who contributed because they decided to cancel the campaign. Now, of course, people are very happy with this post, thinking it's an incredibly based response. You can see Banana Juju here saying, they go straight to spam in my mail, never bothered to reply back to them. Base Slime, Leaflit W, Based. Do they just send their email to everyone and do not do any research? That seems to be the case.
Probably.
Keep winning, Leaf. You're awesome. But also my feed, Based. Not sure if you ever heard of us before. I'm starting to think they enjoy offering deals to content creators just so they can cancel them a few months later for being too problematic. Now, of course,
Probably.
they chose this direction. Okay, they wanted
Yes.
to clean up their image and get rid of very problematic people like myself and the others mentioned here. But
Yeah,
well,
that correct. Yeah, this should be pointed out that hang on. This person, Gabriel Grazia, and Gabriel, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. This is Celestium's fiance. For those that are any confusion about that's Celestium's fiance.
this direction. Okay, they wanted to clean up their image and get rid of very problematic people like myself and the others mentioned here. But well, you reap what you sow. This is your reputation now. You're the company that gets rid of people for being too edgy or having unspecified tweets or things like that. But of course, there are defenders. There's always defenders of corporations like this who will say the most embarrassing cope you'll ever see. Like this saying, "Oh no, they can't collaborate with a bigoted loser. However, will they survive?"
Good question, Billy Everyman. How much money have you given Makeship for a plushie? While you're basically calling a Leaflit a bigoted loser and saying bravo to Makeship, how many plushies have you bought from them? Like that's the question that needs to be asked of every person in this threat. In fact, you know what? You know what? Hang on. He. I'm being devious. I'm being devious. Hang on. Hang on. I have a question. I have a question for Billy here. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Where is it? Please tell me I can find it. Oh God. Okay, this person's sick. This person's like dancing on Charlie Kirk's grave in his feed. I do want to find where is it? Let's see where. Good God. Okay, this person really likes like Molly Cat Girls, apparently. Where is his response? God, it's like surprisingly difficult to find his stupid ass response. Unless he took it down. There we go. There we go. Got it. Okay. Okay, chat, I'm gonna do this live on stream. I'm gonna do this live on stream for you guys to see. There we go. Okay, complete. Oh, you can't even see it. I actually said make shit completely unintentional. Okay. Yeah, so while you're laughing about Makeship not collabing with Leaflit, how much money have you spent buying plushies from them again? I'm curious what the response will be. I'm curious what if this person will even have a response. Because again, that's what it boils down to. All the people that are doing shit like this and saying like, ha ha ha, they're not, oh goodness, they're not gonna collaborate with a bigoted loser. Oh no. How much money are you spending on them again? How much money have you spent on Makeship to buy a plushie from them again while you're saying something like this? Just out of curiosity?
Citation needed. They can never actually make an argument about anything. And then you look at the accounts of people saying stuff like this, and it all just makes sense, right? Right-wing grifter twats like this are loudly ruining the VTuber space. Can we just mass report and slash or harass them off each platform? And this conversation...
And here it is. This is what we're seeing now. That people like this, like it's the side of tolerance and inclusion, ladies and gentlemen. The side of love everybody and inclusion on display right here. Yes, very tolerant, much inclusion. Don't you agree? Yeah. And again, this is like someone where it's basically they try to, if they try to harass someone, you ignore it. Now, the mass reporting thing, the mass reporting thing, this shit needs to get locked down. Basically the mass reporting and brigading thing, it's not going to. Bear in mind, I'm not so naive that I think that any of these social media companies are going to do anything about it, because the vast majority of them are all in on basically leftist ideologies and leftist politics, and they will use any excuse to basically try and silence anyone that does not think precisely like them and walk in, and to step in line with their line of thinking. I'm not so naive to think that they'll actually do anything. It's why I think that they need to lose their 230 privileges. I think every at least in the video sharing site and in the streaming space, every single one of these companies needs to lose their 230 privileges. They need to be exposed to lawsuits against them when they basically treat their content creators that have made them literally billions like shit. That absolutely needs to happen. Government needs to remove all of their 230 protections. They, like, blanket. Every single one of these social media companies, you're going to do that? Okay, you no longer have the 230 protections. Now content creators can sue the ever-living fuck out of you for basically fucking them over for no justifiable reason. And basically protecting literal terrorists, while basically someone that has a disagreeable opinion can basically get nuked off the platform. Yeah, that needs to end. Remove their 230. Every one of them. Every single one, remove their 230. Watch the class action lawsuits come flooding in, and watch a massive change occur in the social media space. I would love to see it happen. I absolutely would.
Down here has to do with the Off-Kai situation and having a booth promoting adult content in a space that has children as young as 13 walking around uncomfortable.
Yeah, and by the way, for those of you that are not familiar with it, this guy's responding to something about the Off-Kai. Off-Kai was basically promoting Fansly during, center stage during the main event of Off-Kai. And for those of you who don't know what Fansly is basically VTuber OF. That is what Fansly is. Fansly was created specifically for lewd NSFW VTubers to basically promote porn. That's effectively what Fansly does. And Off-Kai had they were promoting the crap out of Fansly. They promoted the crap out of Fansly at this one. And Fansly is 18 plus. They actually said in their marketing material that Fansly is 18 plus. And yes, minors could be unaccompanied into Off-Kai one of two ways. Either the parents could bring them to Off-Kai and then the parents would sign a release on site, or if the minors were going there on their own without their parents, they had to. This is the crazy part. Off-Kai was saying if an underage minor comes to Off-Kai, then that unaccompanied minor needs to bring with them a document that could be downloaded from Off-Kai's site that the parent has to sign, and then take to a notary and have it notarized by a public notary. And then the unaccompanied minor could then bring that notarized release form with them to Off-Kai to be allowed in without a parent. Yeah, exactly. Like, why the fuck even do this? It is just fucking insane. But they were like, yeah, you own a company minors? Yeah, come on in. As long as you do this or this, yeah, you can come in. Oh yeah, by the way, here's our VTuber porn site, front and fucking center in the middle of our event. And obviously a lot of people, decent people, took issue with that. A lot of people took very serious issue with this. And then you have this person here who, gee, shocking. Someone that is calling Leaf and Rev and Straub and Celeste, probably me, a right-wing grifter twat, is totally cool with minors being exposed to porn at an anime expo. Are we surprised by this? Are we surprised at all that people like this are all about corrupting children? Anybody shocked? No, the only one shocked is Kaya at this point.
If they have certain permissions or forms filled out, yeah, a bit of a weird thing to defend while talking about bullying people and mass reporting them. And also, like, I don't know who this is. Is this supposed to be you or something? Is this really like the video response you want here? But here's another quote saying, it appears Leaflit and the right-wing chuds are still super
here we
salty
go.
over Rev and
Yeah.
Straw.
By the way, this guy's been coming after me too. This Singo person, he's been coming after me on Twitter too. When I was posting about about what was done to me by YouTube, this guy was in my replies like applauding, going, "Good, you're a piece of shit." That's paraphrasing, of course, but yeah, this guy he's been coming after me as well.
Getting the boots from Makeship's sponsorship. The cope is real. Now you can see they use that magical word, that phrase that, well, does anyone even know what it means? Just person I disagree with? Chud. Now
Exactly.
I have to consult the ancient charts here. The original chud/woke Google Doc released by this totally sane individual who categorized thousands of VTubers as various labels including woke, chud, presumed woke, lean chud, lean woke, unclear, among others. And you can see I'm listed here, Rev as chud, with a link to my channel. Now, where the reasoning is supposed to be provided, there's nothing. I guess my content just speaks for itself. But anyways, who are the types of individuals who are mad about this? Well, you can see this 29 he/him is very upset.
Pronouns in bio, opinion immediately discounted. And also, he says he's an irritator of crypto bros. Garen fucking T, this guy considers himself a crypto bro. He uses AI, and I would not be surprised if he's also does crypto.
About many content creators who they deem as chuds or whatever. And, well, they were mad at Celestium as well when Celestium said, "I love Slime Woman," referring to Leaflit's post, saying, "I see Celestium and Leaflit are still coping over the fact that Makeship rightfully gave Straub and Rev the boot. It's been a few months now. Let it go."
And by the way, that's all this person does is he attempts to rage bait, because that's the only way this person can find happiness. That people like this have a sickness inside of them. They do. They basically, all they do is rage bait. They only want to like spew unhappiness. They only want to spew the rage. And that is a sickness. And right now, I'm going to hazard a guess that Zingo basically feels this sickness inside his gut. It's just roiling and boiling, and he doesn't actually feel happy. My guess is that he probably has the illusion of happiness, like by he probably considers this like some kind of like a quote unquote victory, and so there's the illusion of happiness, like, aha, I won, I stuck it to him. But he's not actually happy. People like this that are constantly rage baiting online are not actually happy. That's something that's something to remember whenever you see this. None of these people that do this kind of stuff on Twitter, not a single one of them is happy. Every single one of them is miserable, and they are taking out that misery online. They are using online, such as Twitter. They're using social media to basically just vomit up that miserableness, that sickness, that poison that is boiling and constantly boiling inside them. And they will continue to be miserable. They will. Like, as long as they, as long as they stay online, they will continue to be miserable. You know what would help them most? If they get offline and literally go touch grass. That is what, go touch grass. Have a hobby that doesn't involve being online. Exercise. Do something artistically creative. That, get offline. Stop watching the news. Okay, because this person, I guarantee, was glued to like MSNBC or whatever the hell they've rebranded as, or CNN. They're glued to the news. They're constantly they're constantly basically getting propaganda mainlined into their brains, and they're miserable. And I know, because you know what? I'm going to tell you, that used to be me. It did. Probably, several years ago, that used to be me. I would constantly, listen to news podcasts. I would constantly look at the news. And yes, it was like MSNBC. And I was miserable. Like hearing the same thing, like the same horrible news over and over again. Everything is terrible. Everything is horrible. There's so much racism going around, everything they were spewing. Yeah. Years ago, I would tune into it all the time. And I was miserable. I was. It was, that's why I say, like, they have this sickness that was boiling inside of them, because I experienced the same thing. When I stopped feeling that sickness is when I turned it off and I stopped turning it on. Was I a former SR? No, I did not go that route. I was not like reeing and screeching online like these folks are. I was just, sitting, while I was like playing Elite, and I would have like I would be listening to these podcasts, or I'd be watching, YouTube videos from these news agencies about stuff. I wasn't like reeing and screeching online, but I did feel miserable. I did. I could feel like that it's why I classify it as like this sickness, because that's how it felt to me. I felt like this sickness in the pit of my stomach all the time. I was always angry, and I was hating life. And like, I know I was there. I used to experience it. And the moment I shut it off, the moment I completely cut it off, I immediately started to feel better. Immediately, I started to feel better. Now, was I 100%? No, because I still have all these self-doubt issues that I've been living with all my life. But in regards to like the state of the world, absolutely. The minute I turned it off and walked, and like cold turkey, just cut it off and walked away, I immediately felt better. At least to a degree, before my own, hang-ups and everything. That's what people like this need to do. They need to just cut it off and walk the fuck away. And they will actually feel better. And they might actually go, why the hell was I so angry about this? Why was I reeing and screeching about this? Well, if they simply just walk away. That's all it takes.
As the person who is endlessly talking about people coping and not letting things go, I mean, we've all moved on, but we have the right to look back at people still talking about it and still emailing content creators and, well, laugh about the situation. Then you look at their other posts from literally today, saying an AI chud and a religious zealot walk into a bar. Nah, too easy. Craig, referring to the creator of Side Scrollers, where Leaflit and Celestial are making an appearance today, saying, Craig, with the random assortment of right-wing chuds you continually have on your show, you make the jokes write themselves by making your guests look even more laughable than they already are. And here's another.
And funny thing is, it was a great show. I watched it today. It was a great show. Blabs, Phoenix, and Leaflit were just off the fucking chain, and it was fucking hilarious. And Craig was sitting there the whole time like this. He was sitting there the whole time like, what is my life? the whole damn time. It was, did that work? No, it didn't. Ah, dang. My foot pedals aren't working. Shoo! Why are my foot pedals? No, I'll have to fix that. But yeah, but the whole time, Craig was just like, oh, what is my life? It was great. It was great. It was a great show. It was an absolutely great show.
One, I guess they also were talking about Powder when she didn't want to work with Makeship for obvious reasons, saying the fact that someone like Powder is still seething at the fact that Makeship gave Rev, Straub, and Celestium the boot is still pathetically laughable. This guy's just recycling tweets. This almost looks like AI or something for a guy who's so mad about it. Very unoriginal tweets, but anyways, this whole situation, very funny. You reap what you sow, okay? If you
Yeah. Okay, now that it's working. Yeah, this was Craig the whole time. What the fuck is my life? Now that my foot pedals are working again. I had to have that in. He was bugging me. I had to. I'm sorry. I tismed about it. I had to, I wanted to do the joke, and I couldn't do the joke. And so I started tisming. I had to fix it. Now I wanted to do it. Sorry. Yeah, Scott. Oh, Leaf and Blabs were both talking, so much about mushrooms. And Craig was just sitting there, slumped back, what the fuck? He's like, how the... Craig was sitting on the show, almost the whole time. Kind of with this expression on his face, at what point did I lose control?
But anyways, this whole situation, very funny. You reap what you sow, okay? If you start getting a very negative reputation of kicking creators to the side the second they are inconvenient for you or they're problematic, what have you, you know what? People aren't going to work with you. If they had principles, if you have any principles, you don't want to work with a company like this because one day it'll probably be you the second.
Well, they're not going to work with you if you're basically going to break the most basic tenets of business. Why would a content creator want to work with a quote unquote business that violates the very first principles of business? Seriously, what? Why would anybody of sound mind and body want to work with a company that can't even get this, this is 101 day one shit right? It's honestly a pretty simple equation that even a fourth grader could figure out.
Second you step out of line or say or do something that upsets the very fragile egos of people working at companies like this. But anyways, that's going to do for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider giving this video a like, consider subscribing, and turning on notifications for daily uploads here on YouTube, as well as multiple streams on this platform a week as well. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
I'm always glad to see it when a plan comes together. And let me show you guys something. Now, I don't know if it's still available. I think it may have actually sold out. I'm not sure if it's sold out or not. You guys saw the actually, let me go back to it.
Shot.
Okay. So this is the plushie that Makeship was gonna make for her. This is the plushie that Leaf is making for her. Not released yet, but I mean, 10 times better than what Makeship was gonna do, right? 10 times better. Oh yeah. Yeah, Makeship acting like, oh, we're doing you a favor, and you're gonna regret doing what you did because now you're not gonna get the plushie. And Leaf basically just dumpstered on him and said, "Hold my beer." And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Ember burns